Hello investors and traders, today I'll speak about my stock portfolio for this year and of course speak about thoughts on the current market. So look, today the S&P 500 is up more than 1%, actually we traded in the range. So let's have a look on my portfolio. Now it's 25 kilobucks. Today my total gain is about 400 bucks. As we see, 34% it's large companies, 30% high dividend investment. As I told you always, I'm a dividend investor. I like to receive nice dividend gain, stable cash flow, and that's why I prefer to buy dividend stocks. So if you look at the daily gain, of course it's the TMF, it's 3x ETF on the TLT. TLT, I remind you, is the treasury. It's the ETF on US bonds, government bonds on US Treasury, WBA also nice again today, more than it's up more than 4%. Enbridge, MicroStrategy unfortunately it's continued to grow. It's very highly correlated with the Bitcoin showed a very strong bounce last weeks. That's why also MicroStrategy continue to grow for me, unfortunately, because here I only started to construct my position in this asset, and I bought only one share. Unfortunately, I planned to build a position, but you see, if we look at the total gain for MicroStrategy, now my position is up more than 30%, but unfortunately there's a very strong and very high gain towards us. So the next one also Exxon. As I told you, let's have a look on the charts. I believe now in the oil price is continue to be elevated in this year. It since the beginning of the year. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's the performance. Yeah, so I guess actually we traded at the same level at as the beginning of the year, but still it's very high, very elevated, very close to $90. So in my mind, I have a lot of oil related oil stocks that have a very strong exposure to oil price, and also I continue to receive and gain dividends from them. Such stocks are of course the ExxonMobil Corporation. Also I have Valero and Kinder Morgan. Philip Morris, it's a nice dividend stock. It's a dividend aristocrat. And of course let's have a look and my portfolio breakdown. So look, the TLT is 44% of my portfolio. As I told you, now what I'm planning to see, I am expecting to see a nice bounce in the TLT, in the US Treasury bond. After this, half of my portfolio is the TLT. I am selling the TLT, the bonds, and start to buy stocks, dividend stocks, of course. And after this, just receive a nice dividend payments. It's my plan. Also, I got the TMF. It's 3x ETF on the TLF, the TMF. So you see that from its high levels, look, we are already down about more than 90%. So it's a lot. It's heavily oversold. This asset DTC of the reside amount is 32, so it's really it's highly oversold. And if we will see like today, relatively I can't say strong or high, but relatively a nice bounce in TLT. This we will see in the TMF rocket. So my plan, as I told you, now I hold, also have of course position in the gold. Gold also continue to grow because or the wars in the war, the conflict in Gaza, but for sure the Israel will win this war. So I hope that the gold price will come down. So the TLT and the TMF, it's the bonds. It's 50% of my portfolio. After they show a nice performance, maybe 20%, 30%, I don't know. But here I showing you that here a few resistance levels, 80 and 106. In case we maybe it will be the next year, I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know the future. After we reach this level, yeah, grow potential at least 20%. So, for example, 50% of my portfolio grow for 20%. So it's can be reflected in stock portfolio performance of 10% growth. So I have a 10-year, for example, growing portfolio. Then, as I told you, I planning to sell the TLT, the TMF, and buy all these dividend stocks like Valero, like Verizon, Altria, Albemarle, Philip Morris, WBA, and all these other stocks. It's my plan for the next year, I guess. And also the gold. Let's have a look on the gold, by the way. Also, it was a spike here last weeks. So yeah, it's showed a nice growth, more than 8%. Now traded near the level of 2000 bucks per oz. So generally speaking, my portfolio now 50% it's the bonds, and also I have exposure, of course, on oil price and the gold, because I am expecting to see the a very strong performance in the next years in the commodities prices, like corn, like gold, like oil, like gas, and all the other commodities in the world. So generally speaking, it's my plan. Also, let's have a look on the total gain. The biggest losers, winners and losers, yeah, in my portfolio. So look, of course, my TLT is down about 4%. Also, I had the Spider, it's ETF on the gold with the ticker GLD, it's up about 7%. Also, the TMF, as I told you, it's also a bond ETF related asset, Valero. But don't forget that Valero Energy, for example, paying me a nice dividend. So this downside 9% for me, nothing. Also, of course, Pfizer, Kinder Morgan, it's oil related stock, dividend, nice dividend stock. Look, Kinder KMI ticker, so currently it's pay me a nice dividend yield of 7%. It has a stable net income, stable revenue, so any problem with the stock. Also, let's move here to my watch list. For example, I would like to check here Kinder Morgan. Yeah, I found it. So look, market cap 37 billion bucks. The performance is negative this year, but PE is 15, it's cheap. And also PS, price per revenue, is 2.4, and the fair PS in my mind is supposed to be 4. So it's cheap stock in my mind. The net income 16% for me is quite good. The EBITDA ratio is very low, and this company continued to increase its dividend payments. Last 3 years the dividend growth is more than 5%. So in this case, of course, for me, Kinder Morgan is interesting investment, interesting stock to buy. Actually, I think it's we traded in increasing channel like this. Now it's in the lower border of this channel, so why not to buy a stock, nice stock related company with a nice dividends. Generally speaking, my total gain for today, as I told you, it's more than 1%. The total gain overall of my portfolio is down about 4%, but as I told you previously, it can be few days of trading, and my bonds, my TLT, my ETFs, the second ETF on the bonds, TMF, and very fast we can turn to a positive one. Now I'm not worried at all. It's 1,000 loss for my portfolio, but for me it's nothing. For example, the portfolio for this year, I had 4 assets in my portfolio: Walt Disney, the TLT, Amazon, and the Bitcoin. Most of them I sold in the summertime. For example, let's compare to the S&P 500. Look, the performance since the beginning of the year. So of course I'm performing the S&P 500. Yeah, I sold. I guess here I was selling my my portfolio holdings. So here the S&P 500 was up. The upside was only 15% now, and my portfolio about 28, 29. Now, for example, S&P 500 up since the beginning of the year and all in 12. And if I would continue to hold this asset, these positions, the upside would be more than 35%. In my mind, of course, it would be nice, but anyway, this portfolio is closed. Now it's not relevant. Now, as I told you, my main strategy, yeah, for the next year it's the bonds, gold, and oil, and of course dividend stock, dividend companies, that stable companies that can offer me a nice dividend payments. And also I believe in the commodities cycle, all the EV cars, the ESG topics. That's why also I looking for a stock related for ESG and iron production companies. Like, for example, I have here one Albemarle. I got it in portfolio. It's paying dividends, but now I have a negative performance in this company, but for me it's nothing. So and let's move to my dividend, my portfolio breakdown. It's for you if you're interested in the TLT. 43% gold, about 10, and TMF, but together TLT and the TMF, I remind you, it's the ETF on the bonds. Together it's about 50%. After they showing a nice performance, a strong performance, maybe 20-30% are selling. I will start to selling them, and at the same time I will buy this one, all the dividend stocks, US dividend stocks that I'm prefer to buy and receive a nice dividends towards all 2024. So it's my view, it's my opinion for the stocks, for the bonds, as for now. Of course, if you're a dividend investor, if you like stocks, if you like stock market, so press the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and see you on the next time. Bye.